What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Alarm Fantasy Football. I'm Howard Bender. It is Fantasy Football Waiver Wire Tuesday. Lots to talk about here. Get those questions up in the chat. Happy Halloween to everybody out there. Let's address the alien in the room right now. First and foremost, Alien Cooper at Coop A Fiasco seemingly has taken over the body of one tight end whisperer, Andrew Cooper. Hello, Alien Cooper. How are you today?
What's up, dude? I love your costume too. Your costume is Howard Bender, but he's lost a little bit of weight over the last month or so. That's what you're doing.
There you go.
Yeah, look good, man.
That's my costume. My costume is a guy who likes to go to a bunch of fish shows and has a wife who insists on spending money constantly on custy wear. So. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Getting the game in the house here. Man, the Raiders suck, but at least I have Coop and Howard. Right? A small consolation there, sir. I don't even know if I want to talk about what we did or didn't see last night in the football realm there. Lions over the Raiders in just, easy fashion. 26-14 is the way that ended. And if you guys tailed me on my picks, I had the Lions in the under, but more importantly, Coop, it is NFL trade deadline day right here, right now. And right off the bat, boom, a little bit of breaking news as the Vikings turn around and solve their QB issues, so to speak, by acquiring Joshua Dobbs from the Arizona Cardinals. They give a 6th round pick and they swap 7th rounders as well. So for the price of, I don't know, some penny candy here on Halloween, you could have yourself a little Joshua Dobbs.
That's crazy, right? I mean, like that. What are we talking about? We're talking about like quality of your punt returner between the 6th and 7th round pick. Like that's nothing. So I think there's got to be a lot of teams around the league looking around, like coaches looking at the GM being like, we could have done that. Like that was a possibility, right? Like there's a lot of teams that are struggling here. I mean, I watched a team last night that probably would be a lot better with Joshua Dobbs, right? Like there's a lot of situations where, you
don't like Jared Goff? What's the matter?
Yeah, no. But I mean, I'm just saying, it's like, it's crazy that they just fixed the problem that easily, huh? That's all it took. You could have made him pay a little more, right? So, because there's a few teams now, like the Rams may be in the mix for a quarterback. They reached out to John Wolford. I don't know. It just seems like it's too simple. But I as a guy who has a lot of Addison, as a guy who has a lot of Hawkinson, I'm happy it happened. Right.
Did you see that Tampa Bay actually signed and activated John Wolford to their main roster just so the Rams couldn't get him? So
crazy, right?
A lot of gamesmanship going on. What time does the trade deadline end? Is it 4 p.m. Eastern?
Eastern, yeah. 4
All
Eastern.
Right, so 4 p.m. Eastern. So we got another
prime time here.
We got another 5 hours. I don't even know what time it is right now.
I don't know. We have 2 hours. You were right.
2 hours.
Yeah.
It's the West Coast versus the East Coast and all sorts of stuff like that. So Josh Dobbs to Minnesota, which obviously helps boost or maintains at least the value of these wide receivers right now. Gives hope that Justin Jefferson will be back. I know Kevin O'Connell said the plan doesn't change at all, regardless of Kirk Cousins' injury. So I guess John Mpemba may have been, obviously rightfully concerned, but it sounds like the Vikings are going for it here.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should. Like there were two ways they could have gone. When you're 4-4, you either got to find a quarterback and go for it, or they have a lot of pieces that almost got the chop when Thielen and Dalvin Cook did. Number one, I'm looking at would have been Harrison Smith, right? So if they couldn't figure out a reasonable quarterback situation, that probably would have been a guy that's on the block, 30-something-year-old safety that teams would still value. So I'm glad they're going for it because it's good for us for fantasy football. All right. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, especially for Hawkinson. I mean, I just watched Joshua Dobbs throw it 14 times to Trey McBride this week. So let's go.
That's going to crush me on a bet. I thought that there was hope. So I've got a bet. I don't know if you did meet. You met Rod and Kim at the Fantasy Football Expo. Diehard awesome. Vikings fans. And he and I actually had a bet. He had the over on Hawkinson's receptions this year. I think it was like 86 and a half or something like that. And of course, it was looking like it was about to be absolutely obliterated. And our bet is a steak dinner. And of course, I mean, I'm not going to screw around with a steak dinner bet, right? I'm going to look and find near Canton someplace that does like the 96 ounce, like
Yeah. Tomahawk. We're going tomahawks, baby.
we don't even want to go tomahawk. We just want to go with like a 96 ouncer, right? That like he can win something if he actually like finishes it. Like I don't mind paying for it, but I mean, at least if the two of us are going to do that, we might as well each try the challenge and see if we can't get it done. Maybe get it for free.
Oh yeah, I like that. So yeah, but I think you're in trouble with that. With this signing, man. I mean, best available option, I think. So
yeah, probably. All right. Other trade deadline news here. Montez Sweat goes to the Bears. We are also hearing that the Commanders are taking calls on Chase Young. So it looks to me like they are just kind of folding up the tents and looking towards next year. Funny enough, Washington's defense actually has better numbers without Chase Young than it does with Chase Young.
Interesting. And you actually pointed out earlier a couple weeks ago that he does, because of the way he plays, makes him very susceptible to the screen passes. Like he just gets upfield so quickly and doesn't. I mean, there have been players. As a Patriots fan, I see it all the time. Players that if they start playing hero ball and not willing to do their role, not willing to play contain, not willing to hang in and cover the D gap instead of rushing the quarterback, those guys can get moved if they're going to play like that. Jamie Collins, a perfect example of a guy who's playing really well, but the coach said this guy is not doing his job, so we're moving him for the Patriots. So if that's the case, and they don't think they're going to extend the guy, then maybe you make that move. But dude, there are a lot of teams that Chase Young could turn their defense into a serious problem. Right?
Sure, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Listen, we saw the Seahawks turn around. They acquired Leonard Williams the other day from the Giants. They just got rid of a second-round pick in 2024 and a fifth-round pick in 2025. Those are the only moves that have gone on so far. The rumor mill's buzzing here, right? There's Jordan Schultz from Bleacher Report says the teams have contacted the Patriots about Ezekiel Elliott. I could definitely see that being a possibility. We know that the Jets are looking at possibly moving Dalvin Cook as well. So we could see a couple of, I don't know, D-list running backs kind of move around. There are a lot of teams going to be jockeying for position.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is with a guy like Zeke, like, people think that he's boring or whatever, but there are a lot of teams that could use that particular guy, right? The number one that I look at is, and I know it's not great for fantasy football, but you pair a guy like Zeke with Austin Eckler, and boom. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you look at Tony Pollard's numbers, Howard, this is exactly another one of those situations where you and I sit back and say, oh, who could have seen that coming? Tony Pollard's not as efficient when he has to run the ball on 3rd and 1. Why isn't he running for 7 yards a carry anymore, Howard? What's going on over there, dude? Right? It's like, you look around, there are definitely teams that could use Ezekiel Elliott, and the Patriots right now, the direction they're going in, that's the exact kind of asset where you take anything you can get, right? Because, I mean, what is a goal line back? What's the value of a goal line back on a team that can't get the ball to the goal line, right?
100%. Listen, we thought that Kellen Moore was going to do that. He thought he was going to make that move for Zeke before the season even started. Zeke ended up landing with the Patriots. So yeah, who knows? Maybe that maybe the Patriots start, selling off some components and start picking up some extra draft picks and continue that rebuild. Now, there's nothing else really brewing on the NFL trade deadline front for right now. Our producer, Adam Bernard, diligently following all the news and notes as we go through this show. So if something does break, we will bring it to you here with instant fantasy analysis from none other than Alien Cooper here right now. Hey, Alien Cooper, by the way, what planet are you from?
I'm from the planet Tight End Ammonium.
Tight End Ammonium. Okay.
Yeah. So we actually just sent some of our finest this year down. Sam Laporta now blowing up Dalton Kincaid, and we got a guy for you next year that's he's in the back of the spaceship, right? We're waiting to get beamed down. His name's Brock Bowers. So you just keep an eye out for those cats.
We will indeed. Now it's Waiver Wire Tuesday, so we know that you guys have a ton maneuvering to do here, right? We got a couple of teams who are on a bye week. Very interesting matchups here going into week 9. Just from like from a regular standpoint, very good. Miami, Kansas City, live from Germany. That's going to be a hot one.
Yes.
Buffalo, Cincinnati, the Sunday night game. That's going to be a hot one there as well. And then in the realm of like dud games, you got the Giants taking on the Raiders. Won't that be fun and exciting? You got Tampa Bay visiting Houston. Yay.
Hey, hooray.
But you guys are going to need some help. You're going to need some work here. Denver, Detroit, San Francisco, Jacksonville, all on a bye week this week. So no ETN, no Calvin Ridley, no Christian McCaffrey, no Brandon Ayuk, no Jared Goff, no Jahmyr Gibbs. Boy, did that dude have a hot game last night. That was good. No Amon-Ra St. Brown, and no Denver Broncos. That's not really hurting anybody's feelings too much, but we got to mention it.
Yeah. Somebody asked me, they were like, are we out of the woods now for the tight ends? Like, big week for tight ends, 10 tight ends had double-digit points after PPR, and I was like, oh, my sweet summer child. This we just had 1 week without bye weeks. Of course, injuries also moved guys like Kittle to the forefront with Debo out, and Kincaid to the forefront, and Trey McBride. But I'm telling you right now, you look around the tight end landscape, listen to the tight ends. If you didn't go out, and this is why I was encouraging everyone to add Trey McBride and Dalton Kincaid, not just people that need tight ends, but these are the tight ends that have bye weeks the next couple weeks, right? You have this week, Laporta, Ingram, Kittle. All 3 of those guys are top 10 tight ends. The following week, you have Travis Kelce, Dallas Goedert. And I guess some people might be starting Tyler Higbee, but then after that, you have both the Falcons tight ends who are technically kind of in the tight end 1 range, and you have your Taysom Hills and those guys. So over the next 3 weeks, you have Laporta, Ingram, Kittle, Kelce, Goddard, Pitts, Jonnu. Like this is the tight end. This is tight end crunch time for the next 3 weeks. So, and here's the problem that you run into, especially in casual leagues. People this week, the Laporta and Ingram and Kittle guys, they're going to add a tight end to start this week, and they're just going to let him sit on the bench. People don't turn around and say, "Oh, I need to go and drop this guy now." Sometimes owners get lazy, and you get punished for that. As someone with Travis Kelce or Dallas Goedert sitting there, 3 tight ends are going to get added off waivers this week, and they might not get dropped back down there. So get somebody right now. Get your waiver. If I named your tight end just now, you should have waiver questions today, and we'll look at the matchups and we'll find somebody for you.
We will. We'll try at least. I mean, you can only go so far with Connor Hayward, right?
I know.
That's
dude.
really.
Hey. Hit the over. He hit the over this week. That's all we care about.
Hey, maybe Taysom Hill's available in your league, folks. You can go pick him up.
He's on bye too, dude. He's on bye. He's got bye week 11, so he's coming up too. It's
coming up too. That's all right. I made the terrible move of dropping Taysom Hill this week with Juwan Johnson on the rebound coming back, and I played Connor Hayward. Now Hayward got a couple of targets there. He didn't, he wasn't completely absent of work, but you know what, Taysom Hill.
God damn Taysom Hill, dude.
Still annoying as all hell here. All right, we'll get to some of the questions in chat in a little bit, but Coop, I want to talk to you real quick here about some of the top waiver ads at each position. We've got to go through them position by position and kind of go through it. So far right now, Britt Flynn's article over at fantasyalarm.com, that is out. That not only has suggestions for waiver wire pickups, but it also gives you fab suggestions as well. And look at that right there, the QR code right there on the screen. Guys, we're running this special right now. It's probably going to go away very, very soon. It's a year subscription. fantasyalarm.com/lock. Use the promo code LOCK. There's the QR code. You can zap it right there. It's $187 for a full year. But what that does is that gets you everything from season-long DFS, betting content, draft guides, cheat sheets, everything. Full Discord access up through the next year, 365 days. That means through week 8 of the fantasy football season next year, we've got you 100% covered. And to break it down there, it says it right there. It's less than $16 a month. Our normal price for a monthly subscription is $40 a month. So screw the monthly, do the annual, take advantage of this deal right now. You will not regret it one bit. I was talking to somebody over on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, and just suggested that to him, and he is signing up as we speak. So Britt Flynn's article over at fantasyalarm.com, that is 100% free, so you can go check that out. Fab bidding suggestions as well. Let's go position by position here, Coop, and give some thoughts here. Quarterback, top 3, Will Levis, Taylor Heineke probably, and Sam Howell. How are you liking those guys?
I'll tell you right now, like, oftentimes we can be hesitant when it comes to situations like the Will Levis one, where guy comes out, has a big game, and we say to ourselves, oh, well, he's not going to do it again. And, it's a bad team and, it's not worth it, especially in single QB. Honestly, though, so many times it goes the other way, where there actually is lightning here and we can capture it in a bottle right now. Deshaun Watson, as a rookie, came out and we said, oh, he started out hot. He stayed hot until he got hurt. Puka Nacua, we sat here and we said, oh, Cooper Kupp's coming back. He's not going to be anything. Well, it turns out he is something. Turns out he is actually really good, right? I said it with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was like, when his role changed as a rookie, I was like, all year long he's been bad. He's not going to keep this up? Well, he did. Hunter Renfrow did the same year. Will Levis, I got to say, I look across the league at stuff we've seen for 8 weeks now. I've seen Taylor Heineke, we've seen Taylor Heineke before. We've seen Sam Howell before. Will Levis, this brand new thing, I'm willing to take a shot on it. If we're wrong, then whatever, who cares? But you have a chance to maybe catch a guy who has a crazy arm that could just be throwing touchdowns left and right. I mean, he was this week. Just saying.
He definitely was this week. He's got a short week this week. He's taking on Pittsburgh, but then after that, Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, Carolina, the Colts, the Dolphins, and then the Texans. This dude is going to be throwing nonstop. Do you believe Heineke is going to supplant Desmond Ridder as the starting quarterback? Arthur Smith turned around and said he's going to make a decision by Wednesday as to who's starting.
I sure hope so. I sure hope we get a chance. You know what I mean? It's so tough when you have young quarterbacks like this because it can really hurt their the mental aspect of the game, right? You look at Tua getting benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick as a rookie, like that was a big setback for him. So I don't know. They might play the game of, okay, we'll keep this guy in our back pocket and stick with Ridder. Once you bench Ridder for Heineke, you better be ready to start Heineke for the rest of the year. What do you think, Howard?
Yeah, I'm leery of it. I mean, if you want to have him as a backup, you can look at him as a backup. Again, I can't figure out what the hell Arthur Smith is trying to do over there in Atlanta. And so that's going to frustrate you. I'd rather have Sam Howell. If Sam Howell's available, at least you know that Washington is just going to keep throwing the ball. He's got multiple 300-yard games. At this point, who gives a crap about interceptions? It doesn't matter. Like, this is no different right now. To me, Sam Howell, along with Terry McLaurin, is no different than Blake Bortles and Allen Robinson from back in the days of Jacksonville. He's going to throw. He's going to be playing from behind the entire time. You just want to rack up fantasy points. Who gives a crap about the interceptions? It's not going to hurt you that bad if he's throwing for 300 yards all the time.
Exactly. And this isn't college football. So in college football, they give you negative rushing yards for sacks. You don't get that here. There's no negative points for sacks in most formats. So Sam Howell leads the league in sacks. Doesn't matter to me. I mean, pick six, even the interceptions in most formats are what, -1, -2. I don't care. In most cases, if you drive downfield 50, 60 yards and throw a pick six and get the ball right back, I mean, that's a positive proposition. Matt Schaub, you mentioned Blake Bortles. He used to do it all the time. You get the ball right back. It's not that big a deal. So Sam Howell is interesting. And this article was obviously written before the news, but I think Joshua Dobbs is now more valuable than he was yesterday. Right? He's now throwing to Jordan Addison. He's throwing to TJ Hawkinson. At some point, he could be throwing to Justin Jefferson.
It's probably going to be your number one option if he is available to you on the waiver wire. At the running back position, waiver wire running backs, pulling from the article, players we like. Amari DiMercado seems to be now the lead back, waiting for James Conner to come back. Devin Singletary continuing to share and split 50-50 with Dameon Pierce. Zach Charbonnet, Charbonnet had a good game here, but I think this was more in relief of Kenneth Walker. It wasn't really something that I'm like, really zipped in here. But what about Leonard Fournette? Signs with the Bills. He's on their practice squad. How is that backfield shaking out to you? You got James Conner. You've got not James Conner, James Cook.
Yeah.
Latavius Murray is there, and now you're adding Fournette.
Yeah, you named 4 names there: Leonard Fournette, Amari DiMercato, Devin Singletary, Zach Charbonnet. This is how I'm playing it with all these guys. It's actually fairly simple. If you are loaded up at running back and you have your starters for this week and your starters through the bye weeks for the next couple of weeks, Leonard Fournette's the guy I want. He's the highest risk, highest upside guy. He'll probably start in the practice squad. So he's nowhere near your starting lineup right now, but he, to me, offers the highest upside with the lowest floor. If you're looking for guys you can start right now, that's Amari DiMercato, right? Like he went out once again. We were checking. We're seeing, is this guy going to get a good chunk of the work again? He did, right? And Damian Williams left the game with an injury. I know Keontae Ingram got some pass down snaps, but Amari DiMercato is looking like he's getting at least the bulk of the work there, and that's pretty rare right now. Devin Singletary, again, he's mixing in. So if you need somebody right now to actually play, you got to go Amari or Singletary. If you're going for upside, you go for Fournette, or you go for the rookie in Seattle, Sharbs, and say to yourself, okay, you know what? Kenneth Walker was banged up, but this guy did get the pass work. He got the 2-minute drill. He used to split it with DJ Dallas. I didn't see a split this week. So he's a guy that he's more of an upside stash. So if you're feeling good and you just want the highest upside plays, go for Fournette or go for Sharps. If you need guys to go in your lineup right now, it's Amadi and it's Devin Singletary.
There you go. There you go. I like the aliens Italian accent along with the whole, like the hand gesture that you got to get in there as well.
It's Amadi DiMercato.
By the way, Arthur Smith in the chat here, because we know that Artie likes to watch the show, says he'll make that decision on Wednesday. I know you've got a job to do, and we've got to do what's in the best interest of our football team. Arthur, we appreciate you towing that company line right now. Still pissed off at you for dissing the fantasy community. And that's all I'll say about that. Coop at the wide receiver position, Rashid Shaheed, Jaden Reed, Michael Wilson, and then your boy, Demario Pop Douglas. We got 4 wide receivers there. Who do you like the best for waivers this week? Did you just hit your elbow?
Yeah. Pop. Let's go, dude. Aliens don't have elbows, bro. I'm fine. And I'll tell you what.
Please tell me something.
Let me tell you a little story. It's a little story about a man named Tyreek Hill. And when he was a rookie, through 8 weeks, what week is it right now, Howard?
8 weeks.
Week 9. 8 weeks. He had yet to play more than 35% of the snaps in a game, but he had already become so explosive, so exciting, returning kicks, returning punts, catching deep passes that you could not afford to not put him in your lineup. Over that season, he never played more than 70% of the snaps in a game, but he finished with 12 touchdowns, piecing it together with 6 receiving touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, 2 kicks, and a punt. That player became too exciting, too fun to leave out of your lineup, and Rashid Shaheed, for me, is hitting that point. In fact, in most games, he's playing the snaps now. He's actually getting the snaps more than Tyreek Hill was there. But this guy is just such a big game threat that you can't afford to not play him in certain spots. So Shaheed is the guy I'm going after for sure out of that group.
Yeah, I'm loving Shaheed. I used him in DFS this past week. If it wasn't for Miles Sanders sinking all my GPP lineups, man, it would have been a fun one. Yeah, I don't want to talk to you about that. Let's talk tight ends here. Trey McBride, Taysom Hill, Donald Parham, Jelani Woods.
Yeah, here's where I'm at with these fellas here. Taysom Hill. Now, Taysom Hill, he's a guy where if you liked him before, when Juwan Johnson was healthy and he was basically just a touchdown coin flip type guy for rushing, if you liked him then you will like him now. But the Taysom Hill that we saw over the last couple of weeks that I actually liked a little bit, the one that was running 35, 40 routes, that Taysom Hill is probably gone. The game before last, he ran 44 routes. The next highest guy was Foster Moreau with only 15. This week, they didn't throw as much, but Juwan Johnson already ran more routes than Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill went on the back burner. He only got 1 target, but he's still the guy that might get a target here or there or score a rushing touchdown. So again, we're back to the old Taysom. If you like the old Taysom, you're still going to like this one. I personally play mostly PPR. I don't really love that player. Trey McBride, you need to add everywhere. End of story, bar none. Donald Parham is the one that again, maybe if it's like some sort of best ball with waivers or a standard
touchdown only.
Touchdown only league. Yeah. I mean, they're out there though, right? Like if you started playing fantasy football when you had to check the newspaper in the morning to see your scores,
you're in a touchdown only.
Then you're in those touchdown onlys, and you gotta, hey, Parham's on the menu, man. But he did split routes with Stone Smart. Gerald Everett will be coming back. The guy that I like under the condition that I have an IR spot is Jelani Woods. I look around and I say, hey, you know what? At a certain point, we know a huge chunk of these guys are boring. You mentioned Connor Hayward. What is Connor Hayward exactly going to do? What's his upside going to be? At a certain point, you got to say, all right, let me just go for the complete unknown. As the aliens would venture into the unknown, give us the unknown Jelani Woods and just hope that when he comes back, all these other Drew Ogletrees and Kylan Gransons and Mo Alley Coxes of the world and the Will Mallories, they all just take a back seat to Jelani Woods, and Gardner Minshew likes him, and we have a new tight end just emerging on the scene out of nowhere. So, yeah, Jelani, sneak him in there.
So there you go, guys. Those are our top waiver wire plays at each position right now. Again, check out the article over at fantasyalarm.com. Britt Flynn has a couple of extra names in there that we didn't even mention here right now. So make sure you head on over there. Check out her article for sure. Want to shout it out here before we get to the chat. Our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is offering new contests and chances to win every single day. You can play their pick'em contest by choosing higher or lower on 2 to 5 of your favorite players' stat lines. All right, the more you pick, the more money you can win. You can do this for MLB games. You can do it for NFL, PGA, NBA, and more. Underdog Fantasy also offers daily drafts with leagues ranging from 2 to 12 players. And now there's a brand new way to play Underdog Fantasy. Make picks during the game. It's in-game pick'em. All you need to do is sign up at fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Use that promo code ALARM. First-time depositors, here we go. 100% match up to $500. That's right. They're still matching that $500 amount. Do it. I'm telling you, it's a great place to be. Again, you don't have to do the full 500. They're just saying that you can do it up to $500. Again, that's fantasyalarm.com/underdog, promo code ALARM. Coop, you eyeballing anything? I mean, I know that we're still waiting for, a lot of the stat lines to come in. They've got a couple of them that are out right now. Is there one that you might be eyeballing at all?
Yeah. So there's still, as we get closer to the games, they put more and more in there. No defensive players yet, Howard. So we can't hit the tackle monster. We've done tackle monster bet 5 or 6 weeks. We'll probably do that one on Thursday, but that's a good one. One that I'm doing that I'm feeling really good about right now is actually DK Metcalf. You look at the narrative for this player. He's never he actually just missed his first game ever due to injury. The week before that, he only played like 20% of the snaps. He missed a game due to injury. This week, he came back, and they said that he was healthy from the injury, but the reports are coming out now that on Saturday night, he was sick as a dog. That's what Pete Carroll said, throwing up all over the place. He played anyway, and he got 14 targets, but was ineffective. But he still had higher than 58.5 receiving yards against the best defense in the league with the Cleveland Browns. Arguably the best. You can make arguments, but best defense in the league. So them setting him at 58.5 receiving yards this week when he should be healthy from the injury. He's hopefully not sick. I know this guy says he eats 4 or 5 bags of candy, a day or whatever. And Halloween, they probably doubles that, right? So probably big candy week for him. But 58.5 receiving yards for DK Metcalf. I'm going to go higher on that. Get that one set up right now.
All right. I'm going to look at Thursday night's action here. Steelers going up against the Tennessee Titans. I don't like either team. And it sounds like Mitch Trubisky is going to be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. So, I'll take a look at, how about Chris Boswell? 6.5 kicking points? Lower. 6.5 kicking points means that he's got 2 field goals and a touchdown and an extra point in him. I just don't even think that happens. Pittsburgh, you're not going to be able to run on Tennessee, not with Najee or Jalen Warren. And then who's trusted? Even as bad as that Tennessee secondary is, I'm not trusting Mitch Trubisky at all. So I'm saying lower than 6.5 kicking points for Chris Boswell. How about that one?
Yeah, I'm feeling good about that, Howard. I'll tell you what. There's a guy, Keith Skopinich. He's a producer here at with Better Sports and with us. He does like the Fire and Ice show, which is awesome. And he used to do our morning show. And he had a bet that he would do. We would call it the Keith Sweat, where he would bet in certain games that there wouldn't be a touchdown scored at all. And the bet, the lines on those bets are always crazy, but he actually hit one on a Thursday that was a Colts Broncos game, no touchdowns. I look at this game and I'm thinking this might be a game for the Key Sweat, dude. What do you think?
I don't even want to talk about this game. This game is going to be so ugly on Thursday night. It's going to be brutal.
Yeah. That's how you make it fun for yourself. Is just say, hey, and then you could root for it to be brutal because the Keith Sweat is one of the funniest bets, dude. No touchdowns.
Right, 9-6 game, 12-9 game, and it's just all field goals. Well, I can't have more than 2 field goals for Boswell at this point.
It could be 0-0.
It could be 0-0. I'd like it. How about a nice 6-0 game? Wouldn't that be great?
To Titans awesome. 6-0. Yeah, I could see the thing with Will Levis. We want to add him because he's exciting or whatever. But this guy is Jay Cutler, dude. Like it might be Jay Cutler in his Will Levis Halloween costume out there, just because you saw it this weekend, throwing off the back foot, like who cares, downfield, whatever, and it worked. But I could see him going out and making some mistakes and throwing some picks too. Which again, fantasy football, I don't care about picks at all. So yeah, we'll have to see.
All right. Well, so shout it out to our friends over at underdogfantasy.com. You can go to fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Promo code alarm. That gets you, again, a first-time deposit match up to $500. Scan that QR code, baby. Scan that QR code. All right, let's head into the chat here. We got about half the show to go. Let's see what the kids are talking about. Dustin Ludke's in there. Cards basically traded a 5th for a 6th in 8 weeks of Dobbs. Yeah, probably. It's still going to be a massive improvement over to Jaron Hall. That's for sure.
Sure. I mean,
here we go. Let's see. Happy Halloween from Skinny. We talked to poor Tommy getting the game with his horrible Raiders. Benjamin Mann in the house. 8-team league. He's got Kamara, Eckler, Breece Hall, Achane, Jahmyr Gibbs, and James Conner. Should I package 2 together for a top wide receiver? And if so, who should I trade? Yeah, of course you should, dude. Of course you should. Out of these guys here, to be perfectly honest, the ones who I would keep would be Kamara and Breece Hall. And then I would offer up 2 of any of the other guys. And, if you include Eckler, if you include Gibbs, you can get a top fight guy. You should be able to get a Jamar Chase or a CD Lamb or, a Tyreek Hill if you're trading 2 of those running backs.
Yeah. And in 2-for-1s and 3-for-1s and 8 teams and 10 teams is exactly what you should be doing. And when I try and figure out who to trade, you got to think about perceived value here, right? So in my opinion, I'm with Howard. Kamara and Breece are locked in, gold plated. Eckler's probably pretty locked in too. With James Conner, they're not going to value him properly. No one's going to give you what James Conner's actually probably worth, right? So I look at guys like Achane, who's going to come back and split with Mostert, and Gibbs, who's looked really good.
This is a perfect time to trade Gibbs right now, right? Monty's coming back. Gibbs coming off of a 150-yard game. Like, ideal.
Yeah. So I'd say go to somebody and say, look, I got all these running backs. You could potentially pick 2 and then steer them away from Kamara and Hall and see what you can put together, right? But I think you're going to get the best value for Achane and Gibbs compared to like James Conner. Again, no one ever respects James Conner. And anytime he plays, he's good, but he gets hurt every single year.
Kev Tompkins wants to know any update on the Kings Classic. Oh, really? All right. Well, first and foremost, dude, Andy Behrens was a better Arthur Smith than you were because he had the mustache going. And you can go check out Andy Behrens' Twitter feed on that one. It was much better. You look good, Kev. You looked all right. But Andy Behrens had the full stash going there as well.
In Kev's defense, he grew. Did Behrens grow the stash or was it?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It's still the stash.
Well, Kev had the stash.
I don't think Andy Behrens can grow a mustache, dude. Have you ever met Andy Behrens?
I have, yes. Yeah.
I don't think he can even grow one.
Well, Kev had a mustache. He grew a mustache there, but yeah, I mean, it's It's tough, man. It's tough.
Looked like
Tough to.
looked like a 13-year-old trying to grow a mustache there. Kev Tompkins whooped my ass in the Kings Classic. Whooped my ass. I had put out a tweet saying everybody wish Kev Tompkins good luck because he's going to need it. Everybody wished him good luck.
He got too much good luck.
There you go. That's a victory for the people. Not for Kevin Tompkins. That's a victory for the people. And so I will mazel tov you on that one. I love you, Kev. You know that. Come on.
Howard, I went up against the number 1 team in the Scott Fish Bowl, like number 1 overall, straight up, like undefeated. And my team came out and put up, had a pretty good week. I had like Kincaid, all these guys dropped like 30 points. I lost by over 100. This dude put up almost 300 points. This kid's team, man, I don't know. He put it together in a live draft with a bunch of sharp gamers. It was me, Impemba, Mike Fiella, Bob Gilchrist, like killers kind of. Zach Reed, dude. This team's the wagon. So shout out to Wiz, man. He put together a squad. My team.
I'll shout out also to Angie Hatfield, who was in the roundtable division. She was at the live draft in San Francisco. I think I saw her as a top 5 team in scoring this week. So at Gridiron Angie, I'll shout it out to her over there. All right, let's move it on here. Hal wants us to keep talking about the Lions because he's been a fan for 39 years. No. Where are we going? Let me see. Wow, there's a lot of commentary here and very few questions, which is not too
interesting
terrible.
For waiver week. Yeah, interesting for waiver week. It all depends. Like you'll notice that like this past week we didn't get a lot of like trade questions or waiver questions coming in, but on start sit day everybody was going crazy because no bye weeks, right? And everyone has your full arsenal of players. So the start sits were crazy last week. This week, coming up with all these bye weeks, we're going to start seeing more waiver questions, more trade questions, I imagine.
Rod Elliott disappointed in your alien costume. He was expecting to see you dressed up as Dalton Kincaid.
Sorry, buddy. I got to get a kid. The thing is, I'm a Patriots fan. I already have a Thurman Thomas jersey, which is kind of breaking the rules. He was already retired when I got it, a legend, but can't have too many Bills jerseys in the house. So probably not going to get it. Plus the Bills jerseys aren't even that cool, let's be honest. They're not that cool.
The Bills aren't that cool.
Bills aren't that cool either. Yeah. Like the Bills jersey, it's just like red, white, and blue. It looks like a bad Patriots jersey. That looks like what I'm wearing walking around here.
Better emergency bye week flex option here from Herms. Royce Freeman or Trey McBride in a PPR? Got to go with McBride, I think, right?
Yeah, McBride. He's just looking good right now. Hopefully Kyler Murray will be back. McBride, we could have a bit of a slight down week here if Clayton Tune is a quarterback, but what are you going to do?
I think Clayton Tune will sit and lean on the tight end as well. Like that's just what young, inexperienced quarterbacks do. Shorter routes, nice little like block and release. Here you go. There's the ball. I'm too scared. Kyler Murray could be like that too. You never know.
True. Yeah, he's probably not going to be scrambling around first game. Producer Adam Bernard makes a great point in the chat. The Bills, when they had the red helmets, that was sick. There's a lot of teams that you go through the history, they probably hit the peak for their jerseys somewhere there. My Patriots, for instance, Patriots red jerseys with the white helmets, better than anything they do now. So,
All right. Well, look at that. Fashion thoughts from Alien Cooper. That has no effect on you whatsoever. Gave the babe, wishing everybody a happy Halloween. What's terrifying him right now? Devontae Adams. What do we do with him? No one's buying. He ain't getting traded. My best hope is sell high if he has a good upcoming game. Thoughts? Well, first and foremost, I've got a little story for you on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. I will not share that here right now, but one of those scary stories that we'll be telling on the show happens to be about Devontae Adams from me. You can wait on that. Dude's playing the Giants this week. Squeaky wheel getting that grease. Here comes another 20-target game. Right. Trade him afterwards.
Against rookie corners. Yeah, you can't trade him in fantasy. You just got to hope he gets traded in real life, but I'm not sure if that's possible either. And I'm not sure what a good landing spot would be. Like, everyone always says the Chiefs, but the Raiders aren't going to trade with the Chiefs. Right, like every time a wide receiver is thought about, everyone says Chiefs, but like he's not getting traded in the division. Is the Ravens a good spot? I mean, I don't even know.
No, I wouldn't even say that the Ravens are a good spot for Devontae Adams. You need somebody, you need a pass heavy, high volume kind of an offense. Like if for some reason Deebo Samuel doesn't come back from injury, the 49ers would be a great landing spot. Having him opposite Brandon Ayuk, I think that would be absolutely fantastic. If the Vikings didn't want to bring Justin Jefferson back, that's a great landing spot for him. You need high volume passing because you want him to get, double-digit targets on the regular. Like if Atlanta comes calling, no
No.
freaking way.
Lions, maybe. Chargers with Mike Williams out and Josh Palmer banged up, maybe.
Yep, I think that's a perfectly fine landing spot there as well. But
Patriots.
Raiders aren't going to trade with Raiders aren't going to trade with the
Chargers either.
Chargers.
That's right.
So, you're screwed. All right, let's see. What do we got? Dustin says that the Jags are getting Ezra Cleveland from Minnesota. It's interesting that Minnesota is going for it and now trading an offensive lineman like that. But yeah, it's definite help for Trevor Lawrence. C-Dog wants to know, do I trade A.J. Brown and Rashad White for Tyreek Hill and Javonte Williams?
I think I'd rather have Tyreek Hill and Javonte Williams. I like the direction that Javonte Williams is trending in.
Mm-hmm.
Javonte Williams, his usage right now, to give you a comparison throughout the league, it looks like Isaiah Pacheco, where he's now getting all the carries and he splits the pass work even, like Pacheco and McKinnon kind of split, but it's still kind of Pacheco a little bit. That's what's going on here. Javonte getting all the work, and then he kind of splits the pass work with Samaje Perine, but Javonte still gets the meaningful snaps, so who cares? So yeah, Javonte's on the up and up.
Yeah, and then Tyreek is just an absolute stud, as is A.J. Brown, but
both
I mean, there you go.
I'd say it's even. A.J. Brown and Tyreek, even.
Yeah. Chris Alvis says, if Shaheed is Tyreek Hill, then Jaden Reed is Stephon Diggs. Is that the truth? Is that the case? Is that the truth here? Sitting behind Dobbs, sitting behind Christian Watson.
That's what it is, Howard. And you would need an injury to get unlocked, because that's the thing with Stephon Diggs is he was always a full-time player. Whereas Jaden Reed, part-time player. So, but close, but he needs an injury.
He definitely does need an injury. He definitely does. Hashtag Taysom talk from Skinny. Shut up, Skinny. He texted me this morning and he's like, hey, so how's your Scott Fishbowl team doing? I was like, up yours.
Skinny, dude. Yeah. But the thing is, like, I just picture Skinny smiling when he's sending these. So I know Skinny's good at trash talking, and it annoys me, right? Because it's like him, our buddy FF Jester, the Taysom Hill crew. It's like it's trash talk that I know he's being, he's not being a jerk about it, but it gets under my skin, Skinny.
I think he was genuinely like curious. Like he knows my world here and everything. So I think he was actually like thinking, hey, let me, everybody needs a boost in life, right? Whether it's an emotional boost, a mental boost, or you know what, they just can't reach something on the top shelf. Everybody needs a boost. I think Skinny thought that he was giving me a little bit of a boost until I was like, my team's trash, dude. I pay more attention to like hosting the event than I even do to like my own team. Right. So I was like, yeah, what are you going to do? We'll be boogieing at a show together soon enough anyway. Herm says Pickett said that he's playing, but what difference does that make? I don't think it makes any difference. Although, you know what, man, maybe I'll pull back on my Chris Boswell call then if Pickett's playing. Because, I mean, listen, Pickett's not that great, but Pickett to Pickens against this Tennessee secondary, I think that's got legs.
Yeah. I mean, Herms is a Steelers fan that has been hurt too many times here, so I can see where he's coming from.
You're in a safe space. We got you.
We got you, buddy.
We got you. Let's see. What else do we got here? Alex says, hey guys, this guy is asking me for Amari Cooper and Travis Kelce, offering up Josh Jacobs and Mike Evans. Thoughts? My running backs. All right, so right off the bat here, when you say my running back situation is a little bad right now, then the answer is, he's offering. He's offering Josh Jacobs and Mike Evans. For Cooper and Kelce,
Can't
Yeah,
do it, I
like
don't think. Yeah, the thing about Jacobs and Evans is this guy. I know this guy that's trading with you. This is the guy that goes in and he looks at the overall standings and sorts by that and sees Jacobs and Evans as back end RB1s and wide receiver ones. And then he sorts by points per game and he sees them go down to 14, 15, 16, 17. And he says, okay, I think I thought of something here. I'm going to do a little trade. So, like, we know what that guy's up to. We know exactly what that dude's up to. And I don't think you should let him get away with it. Unless you're, Alec, let us know.
Let him get away with it.
Don't let him get away with it. I know what he's doing, but let us know, as always, let us know who your other tight end is. Because I know people out there that are sitting there with Kelsey and Laporta, and in that case, those trades do make sense. But let us know who your tight end is, and we'll be able to tell you if you can do that or not. But first thought is no.
Jay Glazer reporting that Chase Young is going to the 49ers.
What? Oh my
really?
God.
You got Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Trey Greenlaw,
Javon Hargrave, dude.
Shit.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So dude, the 49ers were quietly last year they were so good. Last 2 years they've been top 3 against the run, 2-3 against the run. And this year they've kind of been wishy-washy against the run, but a move like that now is just like, now they're just, I was hoping to take advantage of that, but now I guess we can't. Is that confirmed? We got confirmation?
I don't know if we have confirmation there. We'll
Bernard.
look into that.
Yeah.
Derek says, based on the Dobbs news, what are you waving at?
NFL, the official NFL Twitter account just tweeted that Chase Young has been traded to the 49ers.
Okay, so we've got confirmation there.
Yeah.
Oh, Britt Flynn in there also saying we got confirmation.
There it is. Wow. Holy. Why, dude, why are these teams just helping the 49ers and the Eagles get better on defense? Like, stop helping them.
Defense wins championships.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
boy.
Doesn't matter who your quarterback is. Can't wait for all of that. More Brock Purdy, the Mr. Irrelevant, leading this team to the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, the defense is going to do it. I'll tell you what, though, the defensive line is not what the 49ers need help with. The 49ers need help in that secondary because Charvarius Ward does not look good. They definitely have struggled these last 2 weeks. We were targeting them this week. I was like, I'm all in on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I mean, we were trying to. Good thing we bought Mixon, like we were talking about, because Mixon had a good game. Like, now the buy window for Mixon's closed too. But yeah, I don't know, man. That team is going to be crazy. And you're right. The whole Brock Purdy thing. It's how many quarterbacks would be good if they had that defense, and then they also had. I mean, just this week, no Trent Williams. Team didn't look as good. But when they have Trent Williams and Juszczyk and McCaffrey and Kittle and Debo and Ayuk, well then yeah, of course Brock Purdy's going to look good.
All right, based on the Dobbs news, who are you willing to give up for Justin Jefferson now, assuming that you're a lock for the playoffs? I mean, it depends on what the Justin Jefferson owner needs,
right?
And what you have a surplus of. Is the owner of Justin Jefferson need a running back? Are they on the cusp of making the playoffs? Like, I mean, you have to take a little bit more into consideration other than what are you willing to give up for him. Depends on what the trade partner is all about. So we need a little bit more specific there, Derek.
Right. How risk averse you are. Like our John and Pemba, whose favorite ice cream is vanilla.
Right. Still won't trade for him.
He would never trade anything for him. He says never anything. Whereas my policy is this: if you know you're locked for the playoffs and you can if you can trade pieces that aren't in your starting lineup, cobble together all pieces that aren't actually in your lineup, then do it. For sure, do it. But you got to be careful making your own lineup worse for a guy that might not play.
All right, let's see. It was a 3rd-round pick for Chase. We're good there. Drop Jeff Wilson or Pierre Strong for a bye-week quarterback. I'd be dropping Strong, right?
Yes. Yeah, drop Strong. Jerome Ford looked good even though he was kind of hurt. He's back.
Yeah, I agree. 2 QB Superflex, 1 PPR. Who do I get for Dobbs in terms of wide receiver, running back? Thanks, guys. I mean, listen, it's super flex, so you should be able to land like a strong player for any starting quarterback. So even though it's Josh Dobbs, I mean, I'm not, if it's a wide receiver, Coop, I'm not looking for anything lower than DK Metcalf.
Nope.
If you're going straight up.
You have to get somebody in the wide receiver 2 range minimum, because I mean, just think about the way they're thinking about it. How often do you, I know we say you can if you want to, but how often do you actually start a position player over a QB? They have to be like wide receiver, borderline wide receiver 1, borderline wide receiver 2. So you should be getting a Pittman, Metcalf, Ayuk quality player at the minimum.
Yeah, no doubt. That's minimum. And for running backs who are out there, I'd still be looking at a Joe Mixon, right? Probably go for him. I mean,
Josh Jacobs, I guess, but maybe not even.
Yeah. Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
Right.
Either of the Dolphins running backs, Mostert or HN, I guess.
Yeah, probably. All right, let's see. More confirmed from Skinny. If you know, you know.
There it is.
Favorite Halloween candy. Rob Falso wants to know, what's your favorite Halloween candy, Coop?
Yeah, to be honest, this one.
No, lie to us, Coop. Tell us lies.
All right, I'm gonna lie to you guys. It's candy corn. Sorry, Deb. No. I'm gonna tell you, and I'll tell you, this is very specific to Halloween. Is that most of the year I wouldn't go out and get it, but I find myself when I'm picking from every candy in a Halloween situation, I really do love Butterfingers. I talked about this briefly yesterday. The candy itself, while you're eating it, is so damn good. And if it didn't get stuck in your teeth the way it did, it would be considered a top tier candy. So if you know how to eat those without ruining your teeth forever, then they're amazing. So yeah, give me some Butterfinger. What do you think, Howard?
I'm all about the 100 grand bar.
Ooh.
It's milk chocolate. It's little Krispies, like Rice Krispies. It's caramel. What could possibly be bad about that?
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you. Yeah. It's pretty dialed in. There's so many candy bars that I look at them and I'm just like, oh, that's so boring, until I eat them and I'm like, oh yeah, these are amazing. Like Twix seem boring, but they're like, they are so good. Twix. What's the other one? Kit Kats are also really good, but like it's hard to pick them as one, right?
Listen, I don't like to discriminate against different delicious candy. Like anything black licorice flavored, get rid of it, right? You might as well have like a veal flavored candy.
I'm gonna have a black licorice with a glass of Zambuca. There's people out there that like that. I'm just
Give
like,
me an ouzo shot at the end of that. You know, it's so funny though. My neighborhood, we've had some more families move into our neighborhood, right? Which means more kids. So what I did was I went out and I bought those little mini boxes of raisins, Nature's Candy, so that I could give those out, so that no kid will ever come to my house ever again.
Dude, you are the devil, dude.
Right?
Hand out floss, right? You know, or just there was a guy growing up.
I'll give him 3 pennies and a box of raisins.
Dude, there was a guy growing up that would that he would just put like a loose handful of like peanuts into your bag. And I'm like, dude, you're literally making a mess. Like we would just avoid that guy. Like with his hand, dude. Like with his hand. The guy was like 1,000 years old, dude. But he's like, yeah, here you go. I was like, dude, out of his pocket, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a handful of peanuts. Hey, there you go.
Like warm. You got like some pocket lint in there also.
Yeah, I look back at my mom.
Value of that pocket lint there.
Look back at my mom. She's like, "You will take candy from Mr. Johnson's house." I'm like, "That's not candy, dude."
All right, Dan's Crazy 333 has actually got a serious question for us here.
Okay.
In a 10-man PPR league, currently 3-5, with a team of Goff and Dak at QB, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Olave, and Collins at wide receiver, Jacobs, Brees, and Walker at running back, Hawkinson at tight end. Any recommendations?
Crack a beer? I don't know, dude. That team is sick.
It's a great team, dude. How are you
awesome.
3-5? Like, where are you in points? You got to be up there in points. He's got to be up there in points.
I could see how it would happen though, with early in the year, Brees struggling and Kupp being out. I imagine,
and Chase not lighting it up either.
Yeah, and you know, I could see how certain periods where, you know, Collins the last 2 weeks has been hurting you, but I think you're going to be just fine across the board. Like I wouldn't I wouldn't do anything. I would just trust what you have.
Yeah.
I bet people are looking at your team and trying to send you trade offers too. Don't do it.
Which
Don't do it.
he's probably like, they're gonna try and blow up your squad. All you have to do is make the playoffs. That's it. Just make the playoffs. And with that team, I'll go to war with that team in the playoffs. Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So for you, the only advice would be if you're staring down the barrel of like crazy bye weeks, you can't lose with 5 losses. You can't really lose anymore. So you might have to make trades if you have injuries and bye weeks that line up and kind of mess you up down the stretch here. But otherwise, I would just ride it.
Yeah. Derek says that Justin Jefferson owner, Derek's wide receivers. We're talking. So Justin Jefferson owner just lost Kendrick Bourne and is in a must-win situation. So his wide receivers are Lamb, Olave, McLaurin, Hollywood Brown, KJ Osborne, Joshua Palmer. Running backs are Eckler, Kamara, and Mostert. Man, if you're looking for Justin Jefferson, I'd look at, I'd package up like Olave and Hollywood, wouldn't you?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, give him if he'll take that. Because those guys, like, I have no problem starting Osborne and Palmer at all. So yeah, you're fine with that. I would do it, dude. I would first try and say take any 2 of Hollywood, Osborne, and Palmer. You're trading. You got to remember this guy. Tell the guy you're trading for an injured player, and he's must win. So I'd first try.
Who might not even come back. Just throw that in there. We believe that he's going to come back, but throw that in there also. Just be like, dude, why would they bring him back if they're 4-4 and Josh Dobbs is their QB?
Every step of the way. Yeah, exactly. Like, keep that in your back pocket, right? Say that he might not even play. And then when that person comes back and he's like, oh, you could win, and be like, yeah, but his quarterback's Josh Dobbs. You have enough ammo to keep coming back and beating that guy up, trying to get a better deal. But I would do that. And yeah, the Kendrick Bourne news makes me, it's just crazy. Every time the Patriots have somebody that even looks remotely good, he gets hurt.
My Patriots suck so much. Right? You got no standing. You can't even complain. A Kendrick Bourne injury and you're going to complain?
How many years do we have to be bad for till people will like us again?
Oh, nobody's ever going to like you again. Never.
So we're just
go back and tell everybody on planet, what was it? Tight endemonium. Right? Take a right turn at Uranus and you got tight endemonium right there.
Oh no.
I'm stealing Adam Bernard's joke there.
I just realized what's happening to my Patriots. We're the Cowboys now. Where we used to be good. And now everyone hates us. And now we just suck. And everyone still hates us, dude. That's it, dude. It's over for us now. Yeah. Like now we suck and everyone hates us. We can't even be the Browns. We can't even be the Lions and let people like us a little bit.
I can't wait for the year 2057 when you guys are like, do you remember the early 2000s? It was amazing. What a time it was.
I'm gonna be that dude talking about Jim Otto Graham, dude. It wasn't called the Super Bowl back then, I tell you. It was.
All right, we've got to cut on out of here, but appreciate everybody. I was thinking the same. Olave Hollywood. All right, so we've answered all the questions there. We love you all. Happy Halloween. If you have kids, be sure to go through their candy and steal all the good shit before you give them back to them. And keep crushing it. Coop and I will be back here tomorrow talking trade stuff. You can also talk some extra waiver stuff as well. And maybe we'll wrap up some more trade deadline news. But in the meantime, from the planet Tight Endemonium, Alien Cooper, I'm Howard Bender.
Really, than Alien.
We'll catch you next time.